Nearly a year after authorities identified the body of Illinois State University student Jelani Day, documents reveal disagreement stirred among coroners and medical examiners when a law was passed in his name. Another family gets a bill named after their loved one. Another legislator gets a pat on the back for passing hurried, ineffectual legislation, and we coroners get punished by the media in spite of doing a great job. So is life in Illinois, Champaign County Coroner Dwayne Northrup wrote in an email May 17 addressing several members of the Illinois Coroners and Medical Examiners Association. This email was one of several obtained by the Panagraph from LaSalle County officials through the Freedom of Information Act following a request for emails and documents from October 2021 to August 2022 that contained Day's name. The 25-year-old graduate student first was reported missing from Bloomington in late August 2021. His body was pulled from the Illinois River near Peru on September 4th, and confirmation of his identity was released to the public September 23rd. Dr. Scott Denton, the pathologist who performed the initial autopsy, determined Day's cause of death was drowning. The manner in which Mr. Day went into the Illinois River is currently unknown, Denton's autopsy report states. Senate Bill 3932, better known as the Jelani Day Bill, was signed into law by Governor J.B. Pritzker on May 13th. It amended the Missing Person Identification Act to require that a coroner or medical examiner with custody of human remains that are not identified within 72 hours of discovery must notify the FBI for assistance. The emails between Illinois coroners revealed that several questioned the effectiveness of the legislation. Northrup did not respond to a request for comment regarding the email exchanges. That discussion led Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood, who was at that time president of the ICMEA, to ask the group if a peer review had been conducted for the death investigation. Harwood described a peer review in a case like this as a gathering of coroners from across the state who would review the case from the time of the initial call reporting the death to completion of the coroner's investigation. They would evaluate the process to determine manner and cause, the procedures in collaboration with other agencies, and they would ultimately determine if other like-minded coroners would have acted in the same way. If we find a deficiency, we would then offer a recommendation, he told the Panagraph. Has this case been peer-reviewed? I presume not, he wrote in an email May 17th. Harwood then asked LaSalle County Coroner Rich Plock to send him the investigative report, autopsy report, toxicology report, and all other materials associated with the coroner's office investigation of Day's death. I'm going to assemble a peer team of 10 to review this case, he wrote. But the response he received is not what Harwood expected. I come from the hospital world where if there were high-profile things in the hospital world, there was a peer review, their standard practice. In fact, their best practice, Harwood told the Panagraph. The silence of the association was extremely loud to me, that no one else wanted to do a peer review and no one else had anything else to say about it. Plock told the Panagraph that the two coroners spoke over the phone about the issue. Plock said he told Harwood that he didn't want to hinder the active police investigation and noted they were not ready to do a peer review. With all due respect, I don't recall us ever doing this ahead of time like this, Plock said, recalling their conversation. The ICMEA conducts training that includes review and discussion of real-world cases, but Plock said death investigations aren't reviewed in such a setting until the case is closed. The Jelani Day Joint Task Force, which includes the LaSalle County Sheriff's Office, Bloomington, Peru, and LaSalle Police Departments, FBI's Chicago Field Office, Illinois State Police, and the Illinois Attorney General's Office, has indicated the case remains open and under investigation. I want to find out, just like everyone else, how he ended up in the water because it is a strange case, Plock said. The LaSalle County Coroner forwarded Harwood's request for peer review to Denton, who wrote in an email to Plock and McLean County Coroner Kathy Yoder that the Jelani Day bill only changed 2 sentences of the existing law. Coroners should have been following the Missing Persons Act all along, he wrote. I don't know what all the upset is about. It is one phone call to the FBI, that is the Jelani Day bill. In a separate email to a larger group of coroners and medical examiners, Denton gave his interpretation of the law and suggested the Illinois Coroner Training Board, of which he is a member, hold training on the Missing Persons Act before addressing Harwood's request. I performed 2 separate examinations with both my experienced autopsy technicians with the coroner present and a full room of officers and legal officials, and there have been second and third autopsies of Jelani Day's body in Chicago hired by the Day family. There have been no other contradictory findings to my autopsy or my report, which the family has had for a long time. The media has also FOIA'd the autopsy and toxicology reports and have them. They all have found no issues, nor reported on any issues. It is an open coroner's case, but Coroner Plock can add more. That is a lot of peer-reviewed, so be reassured, he wrote. Denton did not respond to a request for comment regarding the email exchange. Harwood told the Pantagraph his request for a peer review was not a slight against Plock, Denton, or their work on the case. I never intended for him to feel attacked, Harwood said. I know Dr. Denton's quality is world-renowned, that's a fact of the matter. He said he wanted the association to perform a peer review not because he believed something was done wrong, but to be sure the case was done with the highest level of investigation and the highest level of integrity and all justice for Jelani. And if an error were revealed, we could make sure it didn't happen to anyone else, Harwood said. The association's resistance to review this case was part of Harwood's decision to leave the nonprofit earlier this year, he said. Plock said he had spoken with other Illinois coroners about the issue as well, and there is no hidden conspiracy to it. But he is not comfortable opening a peer review before the case is closed. I stand by Dr. Denton's findings, Plock said.
Next article.
By